Hey guys, welcome back to my series where I will be reviewing every Star Wars movie. Today we'll be taking a look at Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Like The Phantom Menace, Star Wars fans and critics alike have torn this movie to shreds. However, recently fans have begun to express love and adoration for the prequels. My opinion has stayed consistent for a few years now. I think Attack of the Clones is extremely flawed, but it's still entertaining and enjoyable to watch, and it definitely has some redeeming qualities. Let's begin with the cons. I think the biggest problem with this film is how it handles Anakin. Now, the point of this movie is to show how Anakin begins his slow fade to the dark side, and it succeeds in conveying this to the audience. Unfortunately, it doesn't do this effectively. It's hard for us to relate to Anakin when we as the audience know the Jedi Council is right. Anakin is arrogant, brash, cocky, and he can't control his feelings or his anger. Throughout the movie, he whines and complains about how Obi-Wan and the Council don't trust him with responsibility. And you know what? From what we see in the movie, they're probably right. I mean, he jumps out of a speeder and skydives onto another one. Making Anakin this whiny teen who's rude to Obi-Wan really isn't the best method for making a relatable and likable character. I think the best route to have taken would have been for Anakin to have been a nice guy, initially, who then starts to become angry as he becomes more disillusioned with the Jedi Council, and then this anger explodes because of the death of his mother. Another really big problem is the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan. You've probably heard the saying, actions speak louder than words. Well, rather than showing Obi-Wan and Anakin having a close relationship, he just tells you. Anakin tells Obi-Wan that he's like a brother to him, but besides their talk in the elevator, they never get along in the movie. All they do is argue and get mad at each other. Anakin actually resents Obi-Wan because he thinks he's holding him back from reaching his full potential. Although Lucas does manage to salvage their relationship some in the third movie, it could have been a lot better had he done a better job portraying them as friends in this movie. Of course, the thing this movie gets criticized for the most is the bad dialogue and poor acting, primarily between Anakin and Padme. Anakin and Padme say a lot of cheesy things. Their romance, the most important thing in this movie alongside Anakin's first steps towards the dark side, just doesn't sell. Anakin is kind of a creep in several scenes, so it's a little weird when they start to fall in love, especially since their chemistry isn't great. For instance, Padme kisses Anakin in this scene, even though she has not reciprocated his love at all up until this point in the movie. Another issue I have is, it doesn't make sense for the Council to send Anakin on a mission alone with Padme, fully well knowing he has feelings for her. Speaking of plot holes, I feel like it's odd that the Jedi Council doesn't question the creation of a clone army any more than they do. Like, if this random Jedi foresaw a need for an army, don't you want to question why? Not to mention, they were cloned from a bounty hunter who is working with Count Dooku. It just seems like lazy writing to me. Going back to the awful dialogue though, the portrayal of Boba Fett in this movie is atrocious. His lines are extraordinarily minimal, and they're delivered so flat and lifeless. Speaking of the Fetts, when Jango and Boba get to Geonosis, they have this dogfight with Obi-Wan, and as Chris Stuckman pointed out in his review of this movie, there's not much tension here. In The Empire Strikes Back, they talk about how navigating an asteroid field is nearly impossible and incredibly dangerous, which builds tension for the scene. But in this scene, they just fly around through the asteroids like it's nothing. It's a pretty cool dogfight though, nonetheless. However, the conveyor belt scene kinda sucks, so... The climax in the Geonosian arena is pretty cool, but C-3PO partly ruins it. While C-3PO works great as comic relief in the original trilogy, it really doesn't work well in this scene. Comic relief serves to diffuse tension, but this takes place in the middle of the climax of the movie. It's so out of place for this huge fight sequence. While Christopher Lee is a phenomenal actor and does a great job as Count Dooku, he doesn't come in till the end of the movie. He's a pretty uninteresting villain and is really there just to move the plot along. Why not show or explain why Dooku left the Jedi Order? That would be so much more interesting. And he's not even scary, he's just an old man. The lightsaber battle at the end is probably my least favorite one in the saga. There's nothing to create tension, the lighting is weird, some of the camera angles are weird, and if you look closely you can tell that there's a stunt double for Count Dooku. Yoda using a lightsaber doesn't bother me personally, I know that's pretty controversial among fans, but I just think it's stupid that he uses a cane when he can do flips off the wall. That's my only problem with it. So as I've expressed, there is a lot wrong with this movie, but I still think there are a lot of redeeming qualities. The score is great, particularly Across the Stars. What a great song. While some of the CGI doesn't hold up as well, especially on the clones on Geonosis, a lot of it still looks great. I love the Coruscant chase scene. It's so cool getting to see this massive, city-wide planet with all these speeders flying around. Furthermore, I love Camino. Seeing a water world is super cool. Another piece of CGI I really like seeing is the blaster fire being shot through the sandstorm at the end of the movie. Really awesome. I also enjoy Ewan McGregor's performance as Obi-Wan. The combination of wisdom and sass make him such a fun character. He's far more interesting in this movie than he is in the last one. By far, the best scene in this movie is when Anakin goes to rescue his mother and watches her die in his arms. It's incredibly emotional and sad. You feel sympathy for Anakin, and you get to see his rage. I think Hayden Christensen did a great job in this scene. It's very well done. And then the scene where he returns home with his mother and has to bury her is also very emotional. It's an amazing scene as well. So, is this movie great? Personally, it's my least favorite prequel, but even though it has a lot of flaws, I still think that it's a fun and enjoyable movie to watch. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like, and if you're interested in seeing my review of Revenge of the Sith next week, make sure to subscribe. Well, thanks so much again, see you guys next time.